Continuing the conversation now with Lisa Haven. Lisa, welcome to the channel. You wrote a report titled UN Secret Leaked. It's about to get bad. Exactly what is about to happen? What is the United Nations pushing?
Well, the United Nations, as I'm sure you and your viewers are well aware, has had an agenda for quite a long time. And ultimately, we know rule the world, take over the world, new world order kind of concept. Now, in a report that was printed recently, or this one was printed a while back, but there's two. The first one is United Nations. I'm going to reference my note here, but there was a summit in Korea just this past week that adopted a, quote, global action plan. And in this action plan, they push the education of our youth and sort of a taking over of our children, where they push the idea of the hive mentality, not the parent rearing of the children, but let's have community rearing of our children, government rearing of our children. Not only that, but the idea of making them into social justice warriors and Agenda 21 sustainable development warriors as well. That is the idea. Now, if we delve into it a little more, there was a report put out by UNESCO through United Nations here. It's called UN Decade of Education for Sustainable Development. Now, this chilled my core. I mean, I literally, it's disturbing, and one of the most disturbing documents. But in that document are some pretty heinous things about our children and some of the plans that they, want to initiate.
So what exactly are some of these shocking plans that you've uncovered in these UN documents?
Okay, well, I'm going to reference the page number, so if people want to, I'm assuming we'll leave a link below for that. If they want to ring it up, they can, but on page 12, this is one of the most shocking things, and I'm going to read exactly verbatim because I don't want to misstate this. This is what it says. It says, generally, more highly educated people who have higher incomes consume more resources. In other words, if you make money, you consume more. The more money you make, the more you consume. But they consume more than poorly educated people who tend to have lower income. They go on to say, and this is their words, in this case, more education increases the threat to sustainability. The report further details that simply educating citizens about what's going on with Sustainable Development Agenda 21, global warming, which we all know is a lie, is not sufficient enough, that they need to go further and detail something else. Basically what they're saying there is, if you're rich and if you're educated, you're part of the problem. So let's make everybody into a poorer, more manipulative, less educated group of people, thereby that we can control them and get them to use less resources. All the while, they're going to fill their monies with pockets and have all the money that they want to use, while creating that rich class, poor class. Now, that was one of the most striking ones I've seen. Another really important one is the fact that they all out say in this report that they're good with indoctrinating kids. Like that, they say, let's indoctrinate the youth. And this is what it says on page 9. An important an important distinction is the difference between education about sustainable development and education for sustainable development. So they're making a differential there. The first is an awareness or a lesson or a theoretical discussion. The second is the use of education as a tool to achieve sustainability. They go on to say that in our opinion, more than a theoretical discussion is needed. Some people argue that the 4 indicates indoctrination. We prefer purpose. So let's not indoctrinate our children. Well, that's exactly what they're calling for. They're saying, let's not call it indoctrination. Let's call it purpose. Upsetting.
Certainly it is. Sounds like just some wacky word games being played, classic Orwellian doublespeak, if you will.
Yeah.
But going back to one of the things that really kind of caught me off guard was that they don't want people to be wealthy and educated. It seems like in a socialist society, you need to have an engine, and they're trying to continually tap the rich. They keep saying that, But so why exactly would they not want rich people? What's your opinion on that?
Well, obviously more controllable. The less educated, the less rich you are, the more likely you're going to go with the flow, so to speak. It's kind of, the mentality of let's break apart the family. Let's, there's a whole depopulation agenda at play. But if they can create a more controllable class, because people who are in a poorer class need their needs met. We need food, we need water, we need shelter. There's things that we need to survive. The elite know that. And under the socialism banner, socialist, which is what the United Nations pushes, the Pope pushes, all the elite push, they're pushing, which doesn't work. But they want everybody under the same poor, low-income pay, so they're controllable. And as a result, they also obviously want to take the guns away, so there is no rising up against them. That's the idea behind it, control.
It's ironic that Vladimir Putin is the one that came out and said that global warming, climate change initiatives are a hoax. Again, Vladimir Putin couldn't be more accurate in his assessment. This whole idea of climate change regulation is all about reducing sovereignty of nations, forming world government, creating global taxation, and reducing individual and personal liberties. It's about an unelected group of people being put into power that will then decide who are the winners and losers.
We got the secret documents 8 years ago. Nobody believed us. A couple of years later, they admitted they were all real. Now everybody goes, oh, yeah, the veterans, the gun owners, the Christians, the conservatives, the patriots, the libertarians, they're the terrorists, the land rights activists, the Americans, the folks that won't completely roll over.
Not at all. Because I was in the Philippines physically the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and made himself a dictator. And the first thing that dictator did, he gave the people of the Philippines 2 weeks to turn in all their guns or it was the death penalty. Now, why would a dictator do that? Why would he make his #1 priority when he took over as dictator to disarm the public? The Second Amendment is there, and it was put in there not for hunting and fishing like they like to say, because back when they did it, if you didn't hunt or fish, you didn't eat. It was put in there so the citizens would have the ability, if their government became oppressive, they could defend themselves against oppressive government. And I think that overrules all the gun deaths, because let's remember something, a gun is simply a tool. I have a gun safe at home, and I've never come home and heard those guns going off on their own. People kill people. Police can't stop crimes. Police show up after they're over.
It's time to wake up, folks. Why do you think the U.S. government is stockpiling as much ammo and weapons as it can, while at the same time it's trying to take ours?